Hi, my name is Kurt Brown, also known as Saint Rambone, former FDIC investigator, and I was also in the U.S. Navy. This is particularly about the U.S. Navy. I remember in 1983 a man who fired the missiles from ships, who I knew very well, who was on the USS Reid FFG 30, told me that a nuclear bomb had gone off in the Pacific Ocean. That was at the end of the Falkland Islands War. I was a quartermaster. I was what they call a plank owner on the ship, meaning when the ship was launched I was there, and when it was launched I was a quartermaster when it was sent out in 1983. Before he told me this man who handled the missiles, we had been out at sea and we'd fired some missiles, and I believe I heard one of them hit something one time at a distance, and I was told one had hit, one had missed, and I never know what was war games and what was war. You never know in those situations. You just stand there on a boat and do your job, which mine was basically navigation, and assisting officer of the deck, which was basically just watching and listening what was going on. After those missiles were fired, I remember we were at the base, and that friend of mine told me that a nuclear bomb had gone off in the Pacific. Then he had kind of tears in his eyes a little bit, and he was walking across the base. I don't think I ever saw him again. The next time we went out to sea, I was exposed to radiation. I say my captain was chasing hot spots, or meaning a nuclear area where it was hot or whatever they were doing. I don't know. I was kept in the dark. I think some of us were sacrificed. I believe that some of those, I think there was, because there was tears in his eyes, I wondered if they had hit something, maybe hit something they weren't supposed to hit, or maybe we had been hit in the United States, but or it was just a big ploy to make it look like somebody had been hit. But I often wonder also if those people were burned in the incinerators at Long Beach, California Naval Station in 1983. I seem to remember some incidents. I'm not sure. I've been tortured by the federal government. I had a stroke from forced injections. No one really cares about anyone in the USA. You're better off stay out of the military, and don't ever think about being a judge over banking, because they will kill you. Thomas Crane Wills was killed, and an honest bank examiner or accountant was killed in 1992 at the FDIC. He was the regional director, shot in his head, alleged to be suicide. I have been injected and tortured, and I believe we lost some men. I believe some men were executed, possibly. I know I was tortured and maimed after, that was in 2001 and 2004, after FDIC bank examiner work and investigating crimes such as Sheriff Jack Tillman of Mobile, Alabama. It's my belief that some of our men, there's a high probability, based on my life and what has happened since my time in the Navy and I got out, and what happened in 1983, there's a good probability some of those men were executed. You have to remember, war is war, and if those men shot down any airplanes of any sort, they would want retaliation. I think Terminal Island would have been the perfect place for exterminations of that sort, because we were like an outpost from San Diego. Terminal Island or Long Beach Naval Station is about probably 2-hour drive from San Diego up to that point in Long Beach, 2 to 3 hours, I guess. And it would have been perfect for that. They could have rolled semi-trailer trucks up there and executed those men, if there were any executed at that time, and had them burned in the incinerators at Long Beach, California. They had a law at Long Beach, California Naval Station. There at Terminal Island, they had large incinerators. I seem to remember them burning off one day. There is no telling what really happens in war, or what happens when people are killed. There was no real other evidence of it. A lot of our people from our ship, after the nuclear bomb allegedly hit, they were either not on the ship or they were taken off of the ship. And that was when I was sent out in the quartermaster with the captain, and that was when I was exposed to radiation. I have had tumors here, and I had a large tumor cut out of my leg where I leaned on the railing. I was told to shower at sea after I was exposed to this. Let me see here. I don't have any health care now. Every time I go to get health care, I'm tortured. I've been force ejected and tortured twice. There's a big joke around town. I've been watching Craigslist renters. I see a lot of con artists getting free rents. They take out loans and then they come back as various sundry people. I hope the latest one isn't the wrong one. I'll be posting it at my website, or the website, Mobile Audit Club. Sometimes I spin Mobile Audit Club off to Google News groups and other groups, indie media and such. There's a lot of imposters out there. Beware of the almost like a Nazi type environment or Gestapo environment in California and Arizona. And as far as medical care, because they will torture you in those states. In Alabama, they still beat you back like the lower caste from the slave state ranks. And to some extent you can see that the DC control doesn't care, because they allow the drugs to be imported and sold from places like California and the other outposts, Colorado and other states, Washington in particular. Various states on the West Coast were allowed severe advantage at first during the medical marijuana law wars, I'd call it. They basically just pinched the butt. I advise you not to use any drugs. It's just interesting what they do. Next, they'll be selling heroin, and it'll be sanctioned by basically what appears to be a federal Mexican government, but it has strings into the external or international environment, including DC, which includes the old usual Gestapo and such. I advise you never serve in the Navy. I was on the USS Reid FFG 30. Spelled backwards is Dire, D-I-E-R, 03, meaning I think somebody mentioned it one time, we're going to die in World War III. Some of us might have been actually killed or executed. I do seem to remember executions, but like I said, I've been tortured and maimed and chased and beat down by government and government criminals and those on the side who were government or criminal that I've chased. Let me see here. Let me see. Goes something like this: one shot and then 6 shots, or one shot and then bam, and then a volley of shots, and then clear. It's typical military style executions. I hope I was just sleeping on a bed dreaming this one day after I've had a stroke and had a TV on or something. My friend did have tears in his eyes when he told me a nuclear bomb had gone off in the Pacific. You can have everything I got. That's a little chorus there, dulce. I'm bittersweet lumps. Isn't insane to be sweet. That one on my leg was big. I think it was like a cow. This is Kurt Brown, alias Saint Rambon. I'm thinking about doing a seance to bring back Kurt Brown. See if I can find out if Courtney Love still has any love for Kurt Cobain. What a joke. The Crazy Train. Los Angeles, California, 1983. We might have had some executions out on Terminal Island. Terminal Island is Long Beach, California. Naval Station is surrounded by a huge import car lot that goes on for miles, bordered by the river going up to San Pedro, and on that other side is, there used to be what appeared to be metal junkyards and other shipyards. Basically a no man's land. It would have been a perfect place for those executions. Of course, you can always kill somebody at sea. Ask a shark. This is Kurt Brown, latest at Rambo Mobile Audit Club. Have a good day and watch out for that gal with the big feet. She might be driving a big old truck with old tiny feet. Big feet, tiny truck, big feet. Kurt Brown, latest St. Rambo, San Francisco Mobile Audit Club. I have humor in some things. Dum da dum da dum da dum da dum. What is material, Mr.